Hello everyone, Anna English here, English like a native, and today we're getting personal. Every month women from around the age of 13, 14 up until their late 40s or early 50s will experience a period, a bleed from their vagina. Now, once you hit around late 40 or 50, a woman will enter what's called the menopause, and therefore they will not have this monthly bleed anymore. A bleed, which we often refer to as a period, comes at the end of your menstrual cycle. Now, although we often use the word period, we also have many other terms. So, for example, you might hear in medical circles the term menstruation. Menstruation. And on the other end of the spectrum, we have lots and lots of slang terms. There are so many, I can't possibly mention them all, but here are just a few. A visit from Aunt Flo. This is a play on words, a pun, because the blood flows. It's a flow of menstrual blood. It's a menstrual flow. And Flo is also a name, a female name, short for Florence perhaps. Got the decorators in, or got the painters in. They're painting, making a mess. That time of the month, which is something I often hear actually, is a way to say it without really saying the word period, which a lot of people find embarrassing. So they'll say, oh, it is that time of the month. And riding the cotton pony. Now, the cotton pony, I assume, refers to the sanitary product that you use in order to soak up the flow, the blood. And that brings me on to sanitary products. In the UK, when you're on your period, there are around 3 types of products that you may use when you have your period. A sanitary towel, a tampon, or a menstrual cup. Firstly, a sanitary towel, also known as a sanitary pad. Now, you can get these in all sorts of shapes and sizes. Firstly, some of them come with wings, which are these extra little bits that fold around your knickers to hold the sanitary towel in place. So this is a sanitary towel with wings. You can buy sanitary towels without wings, and you will buy them depending on their level of absorbency. So if you have a lot of blood, you'll need a very absorbent sanitary towel. For the time when you don't need the full support of a sanitary towel, then you can purchase a panty liner. A panty liner. A much smaller, thinner version, just in case. Then we have a tampon. A tampon is an absorbent piece of material which you insert into your vagina, and it will absorb the flow. And as it absorbs, it expands, and it's always on a string. Now, in the UK, the brand Tampax is so famous that a lot of people use the name Tampax to mean a tampon. Very similar to Hoover. We will use the word Hoover to describe most vacuum cleaners, when in fact the word Hoover is a brand name. It's the same with tampons. I might say to you, do you have a Tampax? And what I'm asking for is a tampon. I don't care whether it's a Tampax brand or not, I just need a tampon. Anyway, when you're buying tampons, you will notice they also come in different levels of absorbency. So you get really big ones and then quite small ones depending on the level of flow. But you can also buy them with an applicator or without an applicator. And it really is personal preference as to which one you prefer. This one is without an applicator, but the applicator is a long plastic tube which helps you to insert the tampon correctly. So when you're buying tampons, look out for with applicator or without to make sure you get the right ones. More recently, the menstrual cup has become popular. Now, the menstrual cup, often in the UK known as a moon cup, which again I think is a brand name, And a moon cup or a menstrual cup is basically a silicone cup which sits inside the vagina and collects the menstrual flow, and you empty it, clean it and reuse it. And I think it's become popular in recent years because of the environmental impact, as well as the fact that it saves you a lot of money on sanitary products. Now, sometimes we have to talk about our periods, whether it's with our friends or with a doctor. So how do we describe the type of period that we're having? When talking about our period, there's normally 5 categories your period will fall into. Either you're having a heavy period. This means there is a lot of blood. It's very heavy. On the other hand, you could be having a light period, which of course refers to a period where there isn't much blood loss. So you might say to your doctor, I'm a bit concerned, I normally have very heavy periods, but recently I've had light periods. You might have irregular periods. Now, because your period comes at the end of a menstrual cycle, you can usually accurately predict when your period will start and how long it will last. However, if your period starts at different times every cycle and it's hard to predict, then you probably have irregular periods. If your period doesn't arrive at all, then this is called a missed period, or you would say, I've missed a period. Quite worrying if you're not trying for a baby. And the period that stresses out most of us, the late period. When you expect your period, it's teasing you, but it doesn't arrive exactly when it's supposed to, leaves you worrying for a few days, and then finally, there it is. Now let's talk about symptoms. Of course, you're bleeding. It's your period. So blood and bleeding is one of the symptoms. Sometimes the bleed isn't always liquid. You might have what's called blood clots, little lumps of blood. Worth noting how big they are, because you may want to tell your doctor if you get very big blood clots. Now, besides the bleeding, all the symptoms you experience before and around your period can be referred to as PMS. PMS is premenstrual syndrome. So if you're experiencing period symptoms, you can just say to people, look, I've got PMS. And they will understand what's happening. So what kind of symptoms are we talking about? Firstly, bloating. Bloating is where your stomach, your abdomen feels swollen and uncomfortable. Very, very full and tight and ugh. You may also get abdominal cramps. We often just shorten it to cramps. I've got period cramps, you might say. And this is the pain in the lower abdomen. Ugh, and it really, really does hurt. Some people experience mood swings, depression, irritability, so it really has an effect on how they feel. You may have sore or tender breasts. Ouch. Some people experience headaches, and a few unlucky women also get migraines. You may experience bad skin. We sometimes just say, I'm getting spotty, or I have spots. It's that time of the month. So there you go, some very helpful vocabulary to help you at this very special time of the month. If you did find this helpful, please give this video a thumb up, and if you have any additional vocabulary, I would love you to put it in the comments section below. We shouldn't be embarrassed about this kind of stuff. It's all natural. Until next time, take care and goodbye.